Good. Hi, this is Tyler Odysseus, and we're talking about two different kinds of energy work today. And we're going to learn how to move energy through our bodies and into ourselves or our family members or our clients in order to provide healing. The own person's body is the one that decides how and what to heal. So if I offer energy to someone's hips, those hips will tend to align because that's what the body likes to do with the energy, okay? If I send it to someone's knee and their knee hurts, the pain tends to go down and the knee tends to get better. You can think of it as offering food, like energy food to your client. And what I tell people, and it's very important that you relax and are just detached from the outcome when you do this process, is that a good, quote, energy healer is someone who does a good job offering the energy to their client or their member of their family or to themselves. Because the person who actually does the healing is the client, right? Is the person receiving the energy. Their body decides what to do with the energy. And so really what I am is an energy offerer. And I'm doing a good job if I crank a lot of energy into my body and into my client. And that's the way we do it in Quantum Touch. We move it through our bodies. Other modalities will do different ways of generating the energy. I'm not going to go into all the details of the other modalities today, but just know that there are many energy healing modalities out there, and they bring in the energy in various different ways, and they are also very valid ways of doing this work. Okay, so let's get right to the juice, and I'm going to talk about two different ways to do energy work today, and the first one is Quantum Touch. I teach this class, and it's a 2-day class, but what we're going to learn right now is exactly what I teach on the morning of the first day. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start by putting one finger in the air and just be aware of the tip of your finger. Just notice it. Notice the skin wrapping around it. Notice the fingernail. Notice the pad of your finger, the sides of your finger, the tip. Notice the inside where the bones are. Now try it without looking at it. Just be aware of your finger, but don't look at it. Okay. Can any of you feel something in the tip of your finger when you do this? Tingling. Okay. Anybody else? Yep. Pulsing. Pulsing. Tingling. Okay. So what's happening? When you place your mental awareness anywhere in your body, you draw in energy in 360 degrees spherically to that point. You're drawing it in from the air. There's an infinite supply. So you are actually drawing it and focusing it into that area with the power of your own thoughts. And so in Quantum Touch, what we do is we leverage that possibility to then generate a whole bunch of energy so we have extra and then put some into our client or our friend's body. Okay, so here's how that works. Start by being aware of your feet. Just think about your feet. Sense your feet. Now sense your ankles. You can do this eyes open or closed. Now sense your calves. Now sense your knees. Now sense your thighs. Now sense your pelvic area, front and back. Now sense your belly, just the front of your belly. Really feel the skin there. Now sense your low back. Sense that area. And move up your body and sense your upper back. Now sense your chest. Sense your neck, the front of your neck and the back of your neck. And now feel that feeling on the sides of your head, the back of your head, the top of your head, your forehead, your cheekbones, your nose, your face. And now let's start moving down our neck again into the tops of our shoulders. Feel the sides of your shoulders, the inner arms. Feel your elbows. Feel your forearms. Feel your wrists. Feel your hands. And pick up your hands off your lap and kind of face them towards each other and just kind of move back and forth and see if you can feel anything there. What we just did was the same thing we did with our finger, except that we generated the energy from our feet all the way up to our heads, and then we moved the energy from our heads all the way down to our hands. So what I want you to do now is we're going to link this to the breathing, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale as we feel our feet moving up to our head, and we're going to exhale as we feel our head moving down to our hands, okay? So go ahead and drop your hands on your lap. I want you to have them kind of vaguely facing each other, but totally relaxed. I don't want you to have to exert any physical energy in your hands to hold them up in the air. Just relax them on your lap. And go ahead and breathe normally for a couple seconds. Catch your breath if you need to. And we're about to take a deep breath. So here we go. And inhale, feel your feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, pelvic area, belly, chest, neck, head. Inhale a little bit more. Hold your breath for 1 second. And then relax and exhale. Feel your head, neck, tops of your shoulders, sides of your arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. Now, I know that's a lot of body parts to call out, but you get the gist. What I want you to do the next time is I want you to just feel like a ball of energy or a ball of sensation at your feet, moving up to your head, and then a ball of sensation from your head down to the palms of your hands. And at the end, I want you to actually sense and nudge that ball of energy out the palms of your hands a couple inches, okay? So go ahead and breathe normally for a little while. Catch your breath if you need to. We're about to take a deep breath. And then go ahead and inhale. Feeling the energy rising up. Inhale, inhale, deeper, 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 deeper. Now hold it for a second up there and then relax. Feel the energy flowing down your shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. Okay. Let's try that again. Breathe in. And out. If you can, try taking a deeper breath on the inhale. Breathe in. And relax and exhale. So go ahead and have your hands resting on your lap as you do this. And I want you to really just focus on the energy coming out your palms on the exhale. It will come out a little bit on the inhale, but I want you to only focus it on it coming out your palms on the exhale. Okay? Let's try it again. Go ahead and breathe in. And out. Good work. Okay. Now, the awareness of your body is the most important part of this, along with the breathing. So if there's a part of your body that you feel you might be skipping, tap into that for a second. Is there an area of my body that I could be skipping when I do the inhale that maybe you could place a little bit more awareness onto? Maybe it's your belly, maybe it's your low back, maybe it's your neck, any area, okay? So let's try again, and this time I want you to pay special attention to any area that maybe you didn't feel on the last inhale, okay? Here we go, breathe in. In more, and then relax and exhale. Good. One more time. In and out. Okay. Now, would anyone like any feedback on where the energy is flowing and where it's not? I can look at your field and I can tell you if there's an area of your body where you can pay more attention and more awareness on the inhale. Okay. Go ahead and inhale, breathe in. Everybody can do it along with her, and I'll just give her feedback. Breathe in. And then relax. Do that one more time. Breathe in. And then relax. So go ahead and pay more attention for the next round on the back of your body, especially on your legs. And we've all been sitting on and off today, so that could cause an area to become a little bit more numb. But go ahead and pay extra attention there. If you want to stand up, you can. Here we go. Breathe in. Good work. And then relax and exhale. Now, why am I saying to relax? It's really important that on the exhale, you allow the breath to sort of fall out of your lungs, okay? I want you to be totally relaxed on the exhale, which loosens up the muscles, which makes the energy flow better. Let's try it again, and this time, pay more attention to the front of your body, including your belly and chest and neck and face even on the way up. Let's try it again. Breathe in. And then relax and exhale. Good work. A little bit more on the exhale. Pay attention to this part of your arm, the inner elbow on both arms. Try that on the next exhale. The inhale was quite good. You can bring it right to the center now, center of your core of your being. Everybody together. Here we go. Inhale. And then relax and exhale. Good job. Excellent. Excellent work. Okay. Did you feel a difference? All right. All right. You wanted me to check you out too. So let's try this. Here we go. Breathe in. And then relax and exhale. Same thing, a little bit in the back of the legs on the way up. Here we go. Breathe in. And then relax. That's actually quite good on the exhale as well. Good relaxation. So if you're sitting cross-legged or something, I would say don't worry too much about the feet and trying to make that steep corner around your knees. If you're sitting cross-legged or something, just start at your base, at where you're sitting, and you can do very effective work just by moving the energy from your base up to your head and down and out your arms. Okay. So let me first talk about how you work on yourself with this. Let's say you have something going on with your ankle. What you would do is you would put your ankle on your knee, and I would say in that case, just bring the energy up the other leg. Don't bring it up the leg that you're also going to work on. Put your hands on either side of your ankle in that case, and on the exhale, just allow the energy to flow down your arms and push it out your palms and into your ankle. Now, let's say that you did something that's making your ankle hurt, right? In that moment, if you're doing self-work, it's really important for you to just focus on moving the energy. Don't even try to fix your ankle. If you're attached to the outcome, it makes it harder to be successful. It causes anxiety. If you're starting to feel like, oh no, am I going to be able to help my ankle? I'm not sure. Just let go of that. Don't worry about whether you're going to help your ankle or not. Just go ahead and place the energy to that part of your body where you have pain. And set a timer, because a lot of times as practitioners, we can get lazy about working on ourselves. Somebody pays you for a session, you do the whole length. When you work on yourself, you're like, oh, I'd rather do something else. So set a timer, right? And actually work on yourself for 15 minutes, okay? Is that too long for your own self, right? Super important, okay? So set a timer, that's the second thing, right? First thing is go back to the basics. Second thing is detach from the outcome, even though it's yourself. And the third thing is set a timer, okay? And there's a fourth thing too. If you ever have something happen that just happened, work on it immediately before it settles into your energy field. Now, if you have something that's been going on for a while, that's fine. It's still worth working on it. But if something just happened, here's the thing. Things do not happen while you're sitting on your couch, typically. Typically, you're fine when you're sitting on your couch. If you're at home relaxing, you are in a state of health and you're fine. But if you're out doing something, that's when injuries occur, potentially, right? So we're all intending that we're all going to stay healthy, okay? But if something happens, usually you've got something going on that day. You're doing something else. So if I could give you one piece of advice that's one of the most important things I could tell you this weekend, it is that if something happens to your body physically, and you know how to do this process I just taught you, you now have a new plan for the day. And that plan is to do energy work on yourself until it gets better, even if that means an hour. Because what'll happen is that you'll find that whatever quote happened just turned out to not be that bad after all. And maybe that's how your mind will explain it. And that's fine. You'll be in a reality where it wasn't that bad in the first place if you work on it right away. It hasn't had time to settle into your aura or your energetic field. So the time to work on it is now. Let me give you an example. A mom is taking balloons to a 5-year-old birthday party in her van where there are 30 kids waiting for the balloons. She sprains her ankle. She decides she'll work on it after the birthday party or when she gets there. She drives to the birthday party, delivers the balloons, gets wrapped into helping with the birthday party, and at 10 o'clock at night, she finally decides to work on her ankle. Too late. Let me repeat. Too late. It's not that it's too late to make a difference, but if she had said, you know what? The balloons are going to be late. They're going to be late. The kids are going to wait a half hour for the balloons, and I am going to sit down right here where I am in my van. I'm going to put my ankle on my knee, and I am going to move energy through my body and into my ankle for a half an hour, and then I am going to drive to the party. Different results. At 10 p.m., she's like, you know what? I thought I had sprained my ankle, but actually I hadn't. It was just fine, actually, right? But because she waited, it settled in, and now she's got a 3-week recovery, and maybe she can drop it to 2 if she does energy work on it every day, right? So timeliness is so important when you're working on yourself. So remember those words. You now have a new plan for the day, okay? That includes if you just spent $120 on a ski lift ticket. And you're going to lose that $120 if you quit and just run energy on yourself for the rest of the day. But how cheap is it for you to lose a $120 ski lift ticket compared to whatever else might happen if you try to use your afternoon skiing and don't take care of whatever happened, right? You now have a new plan. Let those words settle deeply into your consciousness. They will save you, okay? One caveat on that, one extra thing on that. This also applies to emotional injury as much as possible. So if you experience something like that, as soon as you can reasonably do it, run some energy to your heart area. In a little while, I'll teach you about an emotional healing technique that you can also use right away, but that's another modality. So let me get back to quantum touch. Okay, I've taught you how to do self-healing with this work. Now, how about working with other people? You're in a sandwich, okay? In some modalities, people always put their hands like this, and that's fine, and that will work with quantum touch, but we like to sandwich things. So if someone has, let's say, something going on with their upper back, what I'd like to do is stand to the side of them and then place one hand on their upper back and one hand on the front of their back and just sweep and breathe. And we call it sweeping and breathing because we're sweeping that sensation from our feet up to our head as we breathe. Okay, so you sweep and breathe, inhale, and then let the energy flow down your arms. And at the end, you push it out your palms. You've got one hand on the front of their chest, one hand on their upper back, and you push it out into their body, okay? Same thing, if they've got low back pain, I want you to have one hand on their belly and one hand on their low back, okay? Of course, if somebody's seen a doctor for something, you let them keep seeing the doctor, of course. You just add this into the whole protocol, right? But what we found is that for certain things like hip leveling, it's super, super, super fast and super, super, super effective, okay? All right, so we've done this. Now I want to teach you fire breathing. For anyone that feels that they might have an issue with it, do not participate. Everybody else, go ahead and participate. Let me teach you how to fire breathe, and then I'll tell you why it's important to learn to fire breathe no matter what your go-to energy healing modality is, okay? So here's a fast fire breath, okay? It starts like this. And then I take a big inhale at the end and a long, slow exhale afterwards. Now, when I do a fast fire breath, I'm not moving the energy up and down my body every time I do an inhale and an exhale. I'm only moving it on the last inhale And I'm only moving it then on the last exhale. So for the first part, I'll tell you when I'm not running energy. That whole part, I wasn't running energy out my arms per se. A little bit might be coming out, but I'm not really actively moving it. Then after I've done that, I do what I call a 1-4 breath, which is like a 1 count in and a 4 count out. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not a super exact science. If you're slightly slower or faster with your counting, it doesn't matter. So here you go. You go like this. And then slowly exhale on the last one. This is one of the most important techniques in quantum touch. And it's great no matter what you do as your go-to modality. It oxygenates the bloodstream, which automatically generates more energy in your body. It raises the frequency of your vibration. And it also, and this is the most important part of fire breathing, if you do it every minute or so, especially when you're first starting out, it keeps your vibration high enough that you will not pick up anything from your clients and you will maintain the integrity of your own energy field, which is super important, especially for people that are just starting to do energy work, which is why I wanted to teach it to you today. If you do fire breathing, especially if you're just starting out, you do it every minute to 90 seconds, you'll keep yourself vibrating at a frequency that is higher than your client. What does that mean? Well, we don't have a way to measure energetic frequency yet, but it's one way of talking about it. It's a way to keep yourself charged up, so to speak. And if you're really charged up, you'll stay energized and you'll end a session with a client or with a friend feeling energized and like you're ready to do another session, right? This way you can do 6 or 8 sessions in a row, and at the end of it, you're like, I feel charged. I feel like going out and running. And that's the way we want to be doing energy work. You want to be feeling charged at the end of the day. If you're doing sessions and you're feeling anything else, realize that you can shift that by doing more fire breathing. So let's try fire breathing together. And what I'd love it is if people would actually stand up for this part, because I'm going to teach you how to do a little bit of belly breathing too, okay? And I will get to your question in just a minute, okay? All right, so as a baby, we all did our breathing by pushing our stomach out when we inhaled to make our diaphragm drop. And then as we exhaled, our belly would come in. If you look at a dog or a cat lying on the ground, this is how they breathe. Their belly goes in and out like this, right? Their chest is staying still, their belly's moving up. Same thing with a newborn baby or a 6-month-old baby. They're laying down, their belly moves in and out, right? Only later on in life do we learn how to breathe like this. Right? But it's okay. We'll do a little bit of both, right? Because we all have a little bit of that in us, or most of us do. But what I want you to do right now is put your hands on your belly, inhale, and intentionally push your belly out and into your hands. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, push your belly out. And now exhale, push your belly in. Now inhale. Now exhale. Now inhale. Now exhale. Now inhale. Now exhale. Okay. Relax, breathe normally. All right, so we're going to do fire breathing, and when we do fire breathing, we're going to do 5 quick breaths, followed by 1 deep inhale, followed by a slow exhale. Okay, so it's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in on the 6th breath, and then relax, slow exhale. On that 6th breath, you're actually going to feel your feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, pelvic area, belly, chest, neck, head on the way up, and head, neck, shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands on the way down, okay? On the last breath only, okay? So let's try it together. If it's too fast for you, don't worry. I'll teach you a slower version in a minute. But for now, let's try the fast one together. So breathe normally for a second, catch your breath. All right, here we go. And then in, and then relax. So it's perfectly okay if it's a combination of chest breathing and belly breathing, especially when you're first starting. If you're adding in the breath breathing, that's already huge progress compared to before. Let's try it again. Here we go. In, and then relax. One more time, here we go. In, and then relax. Okay, some things to pay attention to when you're doing fire breathing. Also breathe out after you breathe in. So if you find yourself going for the fire breathing, only breathing in, realize that you do have to breathe out before you breathe in again. okay? Or vice versa, okay? So let's try it again and make sure that you breathe both in and out. I know it sounds silly, but it's a common thing that happens to some people. So make sure you breathe in and out, and this time see if you can make your breath a little bit deeper in and out each time. Here we go. In and out. Fantastic. That was really good. Anyone having trouble who would like me to help them debug or sort out their fire breathing?
I still haven't got it.
Still haven't got it. All right, let me watch you do it. Here we go. Drop your hands to your side, totally relax them. Here we go. Everybody can come along and I'll watch him do it. Here we go. In and out. Well, you're doing it a little bit more slowly, but you're actually doing it correctly. So you can do it that slowly if you want, but in that case, I want you to take deeper lungfuls. So let's actually just do a quick segue into slower fire breathing. Mind you, my preference is faster. If you can do faster, always do faster, and I'll tell you why in a second. But for now, let's all do a little bit slower, which will look like 3 slow ones followed by 1 big one. Here we go. In, and then relax. That was much better for you. That was great. Okay. When you're doing this, you can breathe through your mouth or your nose. Some people have been trained to only breathe through their nose. And I want you to know that I love breathing through my mouth in Quantum Touch because it gets a bigger opening and more air can come in. And all I care about is oxygenating my bloodstream. All I care about is big lung fills in Quantum Touch. If you want to do both at once, mouth and nose, go ahead. If you've been this last round or two only doing through your nose, try breathing through your mouth this time just to see if you get more air. If you do, see if you can switch to breathing through your mouth. Let's try it again. We're going to do the slow one. Here we go. Breathe in and then out. Good job. Now let's try the fast one. If you've been breathing through your nose, try breathing through your mouth. Here we go. Fast. In and out. So for you, try a little bit more belly breathing. Remember to breathe through your belly on the fast one. Here we go again. In and out. Good job. Okay, you can go ahead and have a seat now if you like. This is an excellent way to do energy work. And this is a way where if you do this, you will keep yourself really charged up during a session. Now, why did I say that I prefer the fast one to the slow one? When you're doing the actual fire breathing part of it, what I want you to do is not move the energy at the same time. And what happens when people learn to do this breath work is that if they're doing the slow version, there's a propensity for people to also bring the energy up and down when they're doing the slow version. So they're going, but they're moving the energy each time. That is not the desired effect when you're doing fire breathing. Because really, if you're doing fire breathing, what you're doing is trying to raise your own vibration and just not worry about your client or your friend for a minute while you do your fire breathing. The goal of fire breathing in Quantum Touch, and really in any modality, is to charge you, the practitioner, up. Because I want you to be at a vibrational frequency that's higher than your client. And if you're moving energy up your body and down your arms on a slow fire breath, you're not actually achieving the goal. The goal is not to just charge your client more. The goal in fire breathing is to charge you, the practitioner, more. And then on that last breath, you give your client a big burst of energy. Okay? It's important when you do energy work to stay at a higher vibrational frequency than your client for the duration of the session. If you drop below their frequency for a minute, no big deal. If you spend 20 minutes there, you might pick up aches and pains. You're not going to pick up anything worse than that, minor stuff, tiredness, but I want you energized. I want you having lots of energy in your body. I want you to be able to do 8 of them in a row and go home or be home and just be like, great, that was fantastic. Let's do something else, right? So in order to stay charged up, you need to stay higher frequency. I think of it like this. One analogy is I want you to be strong like a tugboat, right? You can think of your client's energy field like a barge that you're moving around with a tugboat. You need a strong engine to do that. And in order to stay higher vibration than your client for the duration of the session, you want to do fire breathing when you're first starting out about every minute to 90 seconds. Now, after a while, you'll start to just intuitively sense your own vibration, and you'll know when you need to fire breathe and when you don't. And at that point, if you've got a lot of experience doing quantum touch, maybe you only fire breathe once every 10 minutes, maybe once every 15 minutes. When you're first starting out, before you have that intuitive awareness, I want you to just default to fire breathing at least every 90 seconds. Just do at least one in order to keep yourself at a higher frequency and to keep yourself being the barge, not the barge, the tugboat that's moving around the barge. What do you think happens if you just space out, get all spiritual, listen to music, and stop breathing and get all shallow breath on me? If you're there with your hands on there, if you're there with your hands on your client, and you've made this nice energetic connection, you made this connection more than you would with a normal human because you started running energy. It's like opening a little portal between you and your client. And if you space out and you stop doing not only fire breathing, but you start to breathe shallowly, then it becomes like 2 glasses of water that are connected by a straw at the bottom. The levels just start to equalize, right? So if you're high vibration at that point, when you space out and start breathing shallowly, what do you think happens? You're still charging your client, but your frequency starts to drop until you start to even out. You may not get all the way even, but you're just going to go like that. Just going to even out, right? I want it to be the other way around. I want you to be higher. I want them to be there when you start. And I want you to raise their frequency and yours for the duration of the session. And I want you to stay above their frequency for the entire duration of the session. If for like 10 seconds or a minute, whatever you drop below, you catch yourself fine, you do 2 or 3 fire breaths in a row, you bring yourself up above your client, and then you finish the session off like that. That's fine, you're gonna be fine, right? It doesn't happen in 1 minute, but don't spend 20 minutes spacing out, breathing shallowly, right? Okay, I do see this a lot in professional energy workers who come to my seminars. They're a pro, they've been doing this 20 years. And I see energy. It's something that I was born with, but you know what? Almost every human being, if not every human being, is born with the ability to sense or see energy. It's only in school that people get taught to not do it or that it's not real, right? Once you give yourself permission to see energy later on in life, you can start to see it again within about 2 weeks. Okay, so if people come to my class, and this happened in my last class last month, there was a lady who'd been doing energy work for something like 30 or 40 years. She came in, she was literally amongst the 2 lowest vibration people in my classroom. And she was a professional energy worker, right? And I could see her energy field. It was grayish, it was dim, and she'd done 3 sessions the night before because she had no training in how to keep herself charged up. So she was giving of her core chi to her clients. I don't want you to do that, right? There's other modalities. Another modality that I actually have a lot of respect for is Qigong. And those folks will charge their body every day with a daily practice, charging their body. They charge themselves up like a battery. And then they uncharge themselves into their client. And they have little guidelines. They say, don't do more than 3 sessions a day or don't do more than 4. And it depends on how long you've been doing this daily practice of charging yourself up. And that's fine. And that's okay as long as you follow that protocol. That is very much like charging your laptop and then going to Starbucks and working on it. What I'm saying is I want your laptop plugged in. I want you plugged in while you work. And the way that you stay plugged in while you work is by breathing deeply and by doing fire breathing. Those 2 things will keep you charged up, right? So sometimes people come to my class, the ones that are lower vibration have something going on, or maybe in life they just learned to breathe really shallowly. I get this sometimes with folks that are very, very elderly. If they're in their 80s sometimes, I'll find that they're breathing super shallowly. And by the end of the weekend, they're so bright. They're so shiny because they've relearned to breathe and they've practiced all weekend. It only takes a couple days of practicing. 2 days of practicing how to breathe again, and you start to breathe and your whole body and biology shifts, right? So I love watching the changes in people and watching them shift into a state of brightness energetically and high vibrational states by practicing the breathing. And that's a really big part of quantum touch. That's how you stay energized and charged and how you keep your clients charged. Let me make a little note about group sessions. When 2 people are working on 1 person, you really have to breathe a lot because you're raising them up at a higher rate, right? If you've got 2 people cranking energy on 1 person, you're raising that person's frequency very quickly. So you need to fire breathe even more, because what can happen if you're a very good quantum touch practitioner is you can raise your client up over your head. And it's just like water running downhill. You want to stay above your client's frequency for the entire session. And in order to do that, all you got to do is fire breathe every 90 seconds. They have watches that will beep at you every certain amount of frequency. They do this for like interval training at the gym and stuff. You can get one of those if you need to, or just remind yourself. Or if you just find out, wait a minute, I'm starting to feel tired all of a sudden. Oh, wait, I haven't done any fire breathing in 10, 15 minutes, and I'm just starting to learn quantum touch. Fine, do 3 in a row. Here's another tip. If you find that you've dropped below your client and it's time to climb back above, take your hands off. Just take your hands off. Take a break, fire breathe into your own legs. Everybody try that sitting down. Let's do a fire breath, and at the end, I want you to bring the energy up, down your own arms, and push it out your palms into your own thighs. Okay, here we go. In and out. Okay, one more time. In and out. Okay. I encourage you guys and gals and ladies to try this on your friends, your family, your dog, your cat, your horse. You can do this on animals. Animals love this. If you do this energy work on a horse, let's say you're working on the horse's hip, the horse will turn itself in a circle to give you each part of its body over the period of the session. It will let you work on one hip for a while until it feels better. Then the horse will move around in the stall and give you its other hip. And you just sit there with your hands cranking energy, and then it will back itself up and give you its shoulder. These horses, they know exactly what's going on. I have sorted out horses that were basically set to be put down and saved them by people calling me and doing remote energy work on their horse for a while, and also getting information downloaded on what could help the horse. In this last case, I also got the intuitive guidance that this horse needed to be running around in the grass with no horseshoes on. And so the owner took the horseshoes off. She got maybe 5 sessions from me. The horse, over a period of a few months, the horse ran around a lot in the grass. The horse fully recovered, and she's riding the horse again, right? And they were thinking they were going to have to put it down, right? So you can work this on a horse. All right, now I'm going to teach you another energy healing modality right now. And after this session, if anybody has any questions about how to do this one, just meet me afterwards, and I'll tell you some extra tips. Quantum Touch is an organization that was originally designed to create classes from the work of other famous energy healers. Over the years, they created a class designed on techniques from Bob Rasmussen, and that was the first class, and that's what I just taught you how to do. That's Quantum Touch, the Power to Heal. They came up with another class called Supercharging, which is coming back in January or February, and they learned that from a lady named Mary Adair. They also learned a technique called core transformation from a woman in Italy named Vonda Scaravelli. And that is the technique that I'm going to talk to you about now. That class has been permanently discontinued, but the developer of that class, Alan Harriott, left the Quantum Touch School, and he and I wrote a book, and I'll show you my book here. He and I wrote a book called Energy Healing and the Art of Awakening Through Wonder. You can get this book today from me. It's also available on Amazon for order. And this book, we took 4.5 years to write this book, and it's basically an offshoot of the old class Quantum Touch Core Transformation, which was learned from a lady in Italy who was a famous healer named Vonda Scaravelli. And I'm going to teach you how to do that technique from core transformation right now. So here's how you do it. You breathe through your nose, and this is a totally different breath work, so just let go of what you just learned. You're going to keep that in your back pocket and learn how to do Quantum Touch 1 with that, Quantum Touch, the Power to Heal. What you do for this is you breathe in really slowly through your nose, and you feel, for starters, and let me just lead you through this, the inside edges of your nostrils. So let's breathe in together, and I want you to just feel the air brushing against your nostrils. Breathe with me. Here we go. Breathe in slowly. And then relax. And for my helpers in the room, go ahead and tap into people and help them get to the core point just by tapping into how they're feeling, and just kind of nudge their energy field towards the core point for me, okay? Thanks. Here we go. Go ahead and breathe in again, and this time what we're going to do over a period of several breaths is we're going to allow that sensation in our nostrils to float back up into our nasal passages and then further back, and we're going to intend and sense as if we were breathing from the center of our brains, the fairly wide focus. Now, there aren't nerve endings in the brain, but you're just going to intend that it feels that way and see what happens. Because just like we learned in quantum touch, energy follows thought. And it's going to go to that place in your brain, and it's going to cause an energetic shift. It's going to be a little bit near the pituitary gland, but we're going to take a wider focus that's going to include multiple glands within the brain. Okay? So here we go. Breathe in through your nose. In. And then relax. Just let your air out. This time you're not moving the energy down your arms or anything special, but go ahead and uncross your hands. Just relax your arms. We're doing this special breathing process that's designed to create an energetic shift in your body. Go ahead and feel this again. Take a couple of seconds and just breathe normally, catch your breath. Okay. Breathe in. Feel the air breathing, moving through your nose. Now sense it against your nasal passages. And let your air out. Go ahead and do that again. And this time, see if you can feel it floating back up into your brain. Good job. Okay. I'm going to point at each one of you and give you slight adjustments as to where in your brain your focus should be in order to feel this energetic shift. So keep your eyes open and kind of look at me. And I'll just point at each one of you and help you get to this energetic shifted state. So let's try it again. Breathe in. A little further back. And then relax. Good job. You're still running energy down your arms in the exhale. Don't worry about running energy down the arms in the exhale. Just exhale to get the air out of your lungs, and we'll try it again. Breathe in. More sensation in here and more sensation in the nose. Good. And then exhale. Breathe in. Try nudging the focus slightly lower in your brain on the next inhale. Slightly lower and slightly forward from where it was. Try it again. Anybody watching on the video or anybody else in the room, you can try these adjustments yourself. It may be exactly the adjustment that you need too. Okay? Here we go. Breathe in. Good. Same with you. Slightly lower focus in the brain. Slightly lower down in terms of where it is. It should be roughly there, right in the center of your brain, but it's a wide focus. So let's try that one more time. Breathe in. Look at me. And then relax in the exhale. Good work. Good. Relax in the exhale. Further back for you. And then I want you to play with just moving it around on each breath to a different spot. Okay? Try it with the nose breathing first. Sense the inner edges of your nose on the inhale. Here we go. Breathe in. Feel the nose. Now let it float back. Good, good. A little further back. Good, good. And then relax. Let the air out. Okay, you're pretty much there already. Good job. Try nudging it forward just for fun. Okay, breathe in. Look at me. Okay, don't clench your body on the inhale. You need to be relaxed. I want you to focus on your nasal passages. Nasal passages. Right here, up your sinuses. Sense the sinuses before you go to the brain. This is just when you're getting started. After a while, you're just going to feel the entire time like you're breathing from the inside of your brain. Here we go. Breathe in. And then relax. More awareness. More awareness. Good. That was better at the end. Try it again. And you can try playing with sensing the air leaving your nose and feeling the sensations too on the exhale. Anyone who's having trouble, try sensing it on the exhale too. Let's go again. Here we go. Breathe in really slowly. Feel more. Feel more. Feel more. Help her. Feel more. Feel more. Feel more. And then relax. Yeah. One thing you can do is brush the sides of your sinuses a little bit right here. And just feel that sensation. Remember that sensation as you do the inhale. Okay, let's try that again. Breathe in. Better already. Excellent. And then relax. One thing you can add in is the sensation of your throat. You can add that in to the nose breathing. Let's try it again. Feel your throat this time with it. Let's try this. Here we go. Good. A little further back in the brain. Good, good, good. A little more. And then relax with the air out. That's good. I want you to play with moving the focus around in your brain. Try nudging it forward, nudging it back, nudging it down, especially down. Down on the next one. Let's try it again. Breathe in. And then sense it on the exhale. Good. Okay. Back. Breathe in. Help him out too. That's actually quite good, but let's have her help you. There we go. Breathe in. Nice, 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 nice. Good job. Okay, and then relax on the exhale. Okay, this sometimes brings up emotions. Let's breathe in. Deeper breath, deeper, more sensation, deeper breath, and then relax. I want you to nudge the feeling up, straight up from where you have it right now. Okay, just move it straight up inside your brain. Okay, breathe in. A little further back. And then relax. Anyone I didn't work with, you can work with everybody. I started with you. Okay. Yes.
So are you like as if you had those air tubes, that people have?
You're
Does
breathing.
this go all the way into the center?
You're going to the
or-
very center of your brain.
Okay.
You're going to feel the very center of your brain. Okay. So that causes a sort of pleasureful feeling, right? You feel a little bit sort of like more sensated across the body. Now, in this technique, what you can do is simply place your awareness inside your own body or inside someone else's body and just add a sense of wonder and curiosity as you do the nose breathing. That's one way to work. But I want to teach you another technique, which is from the book Core Transformation, which you can also get on Amazon, and then our book, which follows it. Our book's a little easier to read because we spent more time with the language and everything to make it really, really accessible. So I recommend the book Energy Healing and the Art of Awakening. That one also covers the breath work. This technique's a lot of fun. It's called tractor beaming. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick up your left arm, and I want you to take your right arm and put it about here, okay? Just about here. And I want you to imagine that there's a beam of energy between your palm and your own wrist, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to do that nose breathing technique where you inhale really slowly and feel the air brushing against your nasal passages and into your brain. And as you do that sensation, I want you to imagine that there's like a cord between the bones in your wrist and the palm of your hand, and I want you to tug on the bones of the wrist. So let's try that. Go ahead and breathe in through the nose. And now tug on your own wrist. Now back the hand up and see if you can float like a little image of the bones in your wrist up and out of your own wrist. Now drop your hand back down close and pull another image out of your own wrist. Go ahead and breathe in with me super slowly, sensing that shifted state caused by the breathing. Here we go. Breathe in. If you lose the feeling of tugging, kind of move your palm around until you've connected again and see if you can tug again on your own wrist. Let's try it one more time. Swoop your hand down low, kind of like 2-3 inches away. Go ahead and breathe in through your nose. Back your hand up and feel that tug. Move your hand up and down. Sense that tug feeling on the bones in your wrist and just lift out this kind of image. The bones in your wrist. Now include the bones in your hand and your forearm. Lift them up too. Okay, now let go of it. Now take both wrists and move them around. You may sense a difference in how it feels. You may have sensed something in your wrist when you're working. If you'll do this for yourself or for someone else, you can create a lot of relaxation and change in that area. Okay? Now, I want you to just place your awareness in your wrist and do the nose breathing and just be curious how your wrist might be in absolute harmony. Just ask that question once in your own mind. I wonder how my wrist might be in absolute harmony, and do the nose breathing as you're curious and look at your wrist as you do and just be curious. Do the nose breathing. If you get an answer, just ask the question again. No, yeah, just with your mind. So you're not there with your other hand anymore. You're just with your intention, your mind. Just placing your mind's awareness beneath the tissue, inside the bones of the wrist or that area. And you're just curious how it might change as you breathe in through your nose. Okay. So you may have sensed a pulsing feeling or something in the wrist. Go ahead and move both wrists. See if you sense a difference between the flexibility and the mobility of the wrist you just worked on. This is a great way to work on yourself. And this is what we call yin energy work. You're doing a more allowing way of doing energy work. Okay? You're creating space for change by being curious how that area might come into harmony. Okay? In the book, Energy Healing and the Art of Awakening, Chapter 7 is all about emotional healing. And in that section, one of the things we do is we teach people to feel their feelings again. And guess what? Emotional healing is the key to being joyful in life, and really is the key to physical health as well. Because what we come to find, everybody I know that's been doing energy work more than 3 or 4 years, we all come to the same conclusion. Physical stuff is the downstream of locked up emotions. All of it. And that includes injuries. The injury came into existence because you needed a reason to feel, a reason to give yourself another opportunity to feel something that you locked up earlier in life. And if you will feel those feelings now, you will get to the point where you no longer have a reason in the universe to give you another opportunity to feel that. So let's say that something happened to you when you were 8 and you locked it up. Somebody yelled at you and you didn't feel the frustration of that or the pain of that. You locked it up. You create a grain of a pearl. And if you don't feel it the next time somebody yells at you, you coat the pearl again. And over time, the pearl gets bigger and bigger and bigger, just like an irritant does in an oyster shell. And what I want to teach you to do is to melt those pearls, and they actually melt a lot faster than they're created. And they're melted by relearning to feel your feelings. So if you'll try this exercise with me, and this will be the last exercise for the day, if you'll try this feeling exercise with me, you may find some relief even in the next 2-3 minutes. So let's try this. First step, just tap your chest a little bit and feel you. Just sense you. Tap your chest a little bit, feel yourself. Say your own name to yourself if you want. Just kind of tap into the real you. You're in there. Everybody's in there. You're always in there. Okay? And now, just sense anything you might be sensing right now. Literally any feeling at all. Go ahead and feel that feeling. Sense that feeling that you have right now, whatever it might be, just a feeling of, could be anything. Maybe you're feeling apprehensive. Do I know how to do this? Maybe there's some grief you're processing right now. Maybe you're just feeling happy. Any of it's fine, right? Any feeling you have is absolutely fine. Just feel that feeling. There it is. There it is. Now you'll notice that feelings want to change. Feelings want to change from whatever they were to something else. So if you start out and the feeling is sadness and it shifts to anger, what I want you to do is I want you to go with the next feeling, okay? You can think of this feeling like a butterfly that's kind of flapping its wings in front of you, and your job is to keep your finger on the butterfly. Just allow that feeling to change, and as you do, go to the next one and the next one. So maybe it starts out as sadness, then maybe it goes to anger, then maybe it goes to joy, then maybe it goes back to sadness, then maybe it goes to anxiety, then maybe it goes to anger again. Or maybe it's something totally unnameable. You do not need to name it in order to feel it. It's just a sensation, because an emotion is actually your brain's interpretation of a complex group of sensations in your physical body. As I mentioned earlier during the quantum touch lecture, there are no nervous system endings inside your brain, but there are all over your body. So if you think I'm feeling sad, what is that really? That's your brain's interpretation of maybe a feeling in your throat, a little tension in your chest. So go ahead and feel whatever's there right now without even needing to name it. Just sense your own emotion that you have right now. Just feel that feeling. Good. And feel it until you feel a little bit of sense of relief, like, you know what, I felt it, I'm good. If anybody's having trouble, raise your hand and I'll help you through it. Allow it to shift. Keep feeling. If you've stopped feeling, do it some more. Feel whatever's there. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's tension, maybe it's stress, maybe it's joy. It's okay, it can be anything. It can be positive or negative. All right, good. Now, try this. Reward yourself for feeling. Invoke a little gratitude for just having let yourself feel. Just be like, that's awesome. I let myself feel. That's great. That's wonderful. I felt something. You put a smile on your face, even if you don't feel like it. Go ahead and smile on purpose. Try it with me. Do you know what happens when you smile? Your body creates chemicals for positivity, whether you like it or not. And if you need more joy in your life, by smiling regularly, you can rehabilitate those chemical pathways for positivity in your body, in your mind. And so feeling and then smiling afterwards, first of all, encourages you to feel more and says, yes, it's a good thing to feel your feelings, but also that smiling retrains you to feel joy. And now let's dovetail that into a sense of love for yourself. Just love yourself. If anyone has any resistance to loving yourself, that's part of the process. So what I want you to do, if you feel any resistance to loving yourself, is to simultaneously sense the feeling of resistance. Sense that voice. If there's a voice that comes up and says, I'm not worthy, or blah, blah, whatever it is, and I don't care what it is, just sense how it makes you feel that you've got that voice in there saying something other than I love myself and I'm amazing and I'm wonderful. And then you'll notice that if you'll sense that voice for a couple seconds, and maybe that voice is uncomfortable, just sense that uncomfortable sensation from the voice, keep sensing it a little bit more. You can sort of tickle it with an imaginary finger, then go back to just feeling love for yourself. Now, if it helps, think of yourself as a little girl or a little boy at an age when it was really easy to think of yourself and love yourself. Maybe it's 8, 12, 14, 18, 25. Well, you're all younger than 25. However old you are, sense that feeling of love for yourself. And then realize that whoever that age is that you can feel compassion for, that's still you. That's still you right here today. So feel that compassion and love for the you right here today. Love yourself right now. Try it. Love your feet. Love your whole body. Love your knees. Love your chest. Love you. Just love yourself. Good. Now we'll go to the final step in this feeling process. I want you to come up with a positive statement for something that you would like to be true in your life. You're going to say it silently in your head, okay? And it's going to go something like this. I wonder what it might be about being a rock star. Okay? Now, I did say wonder what it might be about. I didn't say wonder what it might be like. And I'll tell you why. Because all of us, I believe, are simply one infinite being playing an intricate game of separateness, pretending to be separate and inhabiting all these little bodies to gain an interesting perspective. And whether or not that's true, and of course, I'll never know, but whether or not that's true, if you think of it that way, that you're just here playing this intricate game of separateness, playing this game of being in this three-dimensional body, then the question, I wonder what it might be about, is I wonder what it might be about spiritually, on a spiritual growth level, for that being, that little tiny slice of that being that's inhabiting this three-dimensional body in this world to experience being a rock star. I wonder what that might be about for that being to experience that. It could be anything. I wonder what it might be about experiencing absolute harmony in my family. I wonder what it might be about being 100% healthy. I wonder what it might be about getting younger physically. So go ahead and pick your statement, something that you would like to be true, and then just kind of look at me and nod when you're ready, when you've got one. Okay, everybody got one? Okay. So you're going to fill in the blank at the end, okay? Go ahead and just tap back into yourself, the real you, and then imagine for a couple seconds a sunset, an amazing disk of red and orange dropping down over the Pacific Ocean. And there's a light cloud cover, and it's lighting up the sky, and you have this sense of awe and curiosity, and you're wondering, and evoke that sense of curiosity in your entire body. And now say your statement. I wonder what it might be about being a rock star, whatever it is for you. And now, invoke that sense of wonder and just be curious. Without attachment, just curious. I wonder what that experience might be about for this infinite being. Okay, close your eyes for this. Imagine you're floating forwards through a bright white cloud. You're not sure what's going to come out of the cloud, but you're a little bit excited. I wonder what it might be about having, being, or doing this thing. And invoke that curiosity. A little more wonder. There's a sense of motion to wonder, like you're floating forwards and upwards. Now add back in that nose breathing. Feel the air brushing against your nasal passages, floating up into your head. Wonder about the top of your head. Wonder about your crown. Wonder how that area might open more fully. Another couple breaths through the nose. Breathe in, feel the air brushing against your nasal passages and your brain. Good. Okay, open your eyes, come back to the room. So when we do that feeling process, what I led you through were 3 steps of feeling. Feel your feelings you have now and follow them, however they change. Feel gratitude for feeling the feelings. Feel love for yourself while feeling the feelings. And then wonder a positive reality. In this 4-step process, every step of the way you should be feeling. So when you're doing gratitude, I don't want you to force gratitude if that's not there. If you sense a sense of gratitude for having felt, but all you feel is resistance, that's okay. Just sense the resistance. Consider feeling gratitude and feel the resistance. If you get to love and all you feel is resistance, then just feel the resistance. Do steps 1, 2, and 3 until you feel somewhat resolved about whatever emotions were coming up. If something was pushing on you that day, whatever it could be, anything, that's a place to start. Where do we get the things to feel about? With whatever's on top, whatever's here right this second. So I don't need you to dig back into your early childhood unless that happens to come up right now. Just feel when you do this, whatever comes up. And just like earlier I talked about with self-healing, that you want to deal with something as soon as it comes up, same thing. You get a phone call from somebody that pushes you the wrong way, feel right away. I call it processing, but go ahead and feel that feeling right away. Do this process on it right away. Do it over and over again right away if you need to, and allow that to flow through you and away from you, and make sure that it does not get added to the backlog. Right? The backlog causes a dam. Flowed water in a dam that presses, that's what causes emotional pain. That's also what causes depression. And that's what causes, eventually, the depression hardens into physical stuff. But you can actually achieve a state of absolute pure joy by doing this process, because all of us are born happy. If you look at a baby that's 3 months old, you tickle its feet, they laugh in 2 seconds. They're so happy. All they want to do is laugh and be happy. Only later in life do we put layers on it that prevents it. So if you can feel those layers and process them away, you can achieve a state of absolute joy. Through doing this process, I have achieved periods of something I would only be able to call enlightenment for periods of up to 5 hours at a time. I know of people who have done this all day long for months and claim to have achieved permanent enlightenment by doing this continuously. Not all of us have time to sit around doing feeling work all day long every day. Some people have jobs and stuff like that, and that's fine. Just do it on and off. The time that I actually did achieve that 5 hours, I did this 5 minutes an hour, every hour for 4 days. That's all I did. I was doing other stuff. I went to work. I had a job at the time, and I felt 5 hours a day on 5 minutes every hour while at work. And I did that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Monday I went to work and I didn't even bother doing any kind of express feeling work. I was feeling fine. I walked into my apartment that afternoon and I dropped into a state of enlightenment that lasted 5 hours. And the description of how I felt was identical to the description in the beginning of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. I felt absolute bliss, absolute joy, absolute compassion for every human being on the planet who are just doing their best with the information they've been given, with how they've been taught in life. Zero judgment for anyone. I understood. I didn't necessarily agree with the actions people were taking, but that's okay. And I simultaneously became aware of everything in my entire 2-bedroom apartment, every object. There was a pile of papers I hadn't sorted that I hadn't seen for a month and a half because I'd forgotten it was there. And I stood up in this state of enlightenment and I walked over and I sorted the papers into their filing cabinet, threw away the ones that needed to be thrown away, and sat back down on the couch, all in that state. And it sort of faded over the next day and a half or so. And since then, I usually achieve that state for maybe 10 minutes. And one little piece of info is that if you get to that state, which you can reach that state, if you do this straight for an hour, you can get to that state for maybe 10 minutes or an hour afterwards. If you do energy work and healing work from that state of absolute presence, and presence and enlightenment are basically the same thing, you can do really good energy work on people. Now, of course, there's a lot of religious dogma around the word enlightenment. I'm not talking about that kind of enlightenment. I'm talking about a kind of absolute presence that you would need to do some kind of maintenance on to stay in, and that you might need to kind of maintain here and there in order to stay in that state. And maybe if you've maintained it for a long time, you would just stay there without much effort. So really good stuff. Do the feeling work if you ever need to. The book is available today. I can sign a copy if you like. It's also available on Amazon. And if you'd like to come take a class with me, I teach primarily in California and New York City, but I'm willing to fly anywhere if I have 5 or 6 students. I'll teach for the weekend. and I'll teach Quantum Touch 1, or I can teach this work as well, which is about presence and enlightenment, but it's not from a religious standpoint, just from a stand of presence in your body. And then a way of doing the yin energy work that we did, that pulling on the wrist, that kind of stuff, the nose breathing, that's the yin side of energy work. The fire breathing, everything, that's the yang, male, ascending side of energy work. Both of them are complementary and great tools to have in your bucket. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's not so much, it's just that your body knows what to do already by that point. Your knee actually, your replacement knee becomes part of your body. Your body starts to think of it as part of its body. It no longer thinks of it as foreign. Try it. If messing things up, stop. It's not gonna mess up. Because talk to your mom. It's really, really good.
Thank you.
I really want to teach her about the process. That's what I said she really needs. Like I can work on her body, and I will. We'll start there, and that'll clear out some of the emotions too. But really, we gotta teach her in French how to feel. Really fun for me too, because I only have a few clients in French. Come talk to me in school. If you want to buy this, $20. I'll sign it for you. What's your name? Alma? You're very welcome. You did really well with the nose breathing. I mean, really good work. Yeah. Where you live?
Here in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas. Well, it's 4-hour drive to my place in Stephen. I'm teaching not right now. If I had a lot of students, I would come. I'm teaching number 11 as well. Capacity this weekend. I'm teaching Quantum Touch level 1. There's a hotel for $159. My time is really good base, really comfortable. So, if you work on contact info, just get your phone on you can punch it in, just type Tyler Odysseus and Quantum Touch. Yeah, how can I look into this forever? It was forever.
Yeah, so it comes in.
H-E-I-E-I, right?
Yes. Sometimes.
I really actually like that scene. And so I looked around and stayed there, that's why.
Well, there's the biggest.
We're learning how to yeah.
I would actually love to teach this class. Teach. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you so much. If he's got enough people
I can save my dad. If I can teach it at your house, I don't have to clean it 5 days. As long as I can fit like 8 people, whatever, I can.
Is it your having a lot of great over these days on the trust?
If I move back in, I can't guarantee that I'll make this thing.
Sure, right, right.
See you again. Favorite information, hopefully we'll put together this class. Tell me your full name.
Where do we know her from? I bet I tell you, let's check.
Yes, please.
Don't have me here. I'm just gonna give you my. Is that okay? All right, let's zap you. Let's work on you.
I feel like Rainbow Bright.
Come sit over here so I can reach you.
I'm gonna come to your thing too and buy your other book. I know you sold the one you had here, so.
I've got another one.
You have more though.
Oh, you got one. I have a bunch. I think I have another one with me.
So yeah, so I like that one.
Yes, I look forward to trying.
Yeah, I got one
to
more.
Yeah, we were
help
just
that.
talking. So.
I look forward to seeing you again.
January. I think January's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Um,
you're still kind of looking for an area though. I told you though, we should check into Garden City, because it's like right there at the city, but it's outside of the city.
all right, want me to sign this to you
It's a nice-
both? or
Yeah,
to one
sure,
of
you could do it to both. of us.
Okay, I might as well sign it to both of you. Okay, how do I spell your name? Bruce and Jennifer?
Yeah, Jennifer with 2 N's.
I didn't know that was with 2 N's.
It is.
You learn something new every day.
That's why we're not married. I'm not married until you learn to spell my name.
Oh, that's another thing I gotta do.
Just 20.
I figured you guys probably had each other information, but.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I told him
This
you
itself,
itself
if he comes up
operates
to Nevada City or Grass Valley, I live in Grass Valley.
Feel that.
If he wants to pass up there.
Okay.
It's like when you lay it on his knee, you'll feel it.
That's what we.
Thank you.
With Alan Harry and I,
Good, yeah, I was
we
gonna
both
check
crank
that out.
energy on writing of the book for more than 3 years. And I had no idea it would do this, but when I got my first 50 copies in a box in my house, I looked at the energy field and I could see this bulb underneath and like a Christmas tree looking energy field on top.
On my address.
I was like, whoa, and I felt it.
Oh, fabulous.
Like, oh yeah, that's the one
It
up
should
in
be
Grass
my
Valley.
name. I was like,
Yeah, how
and
close
it's
is
so
that
bizarre
to
because you
Nevada
can
City?
print new copies.
It's
and
like
they
10
all
minutes
have
from
property.
Nevada City.
Oh, that's a good.
So
Nice.
it is a
That's
trip.
awesome.
I talked to a friend of mine who's a Reiki teacher and she's like, of course you wrote a sacred text. I was like, ah, whatever.
I'll put my address in there for you too.
Oh,
Make sure you
awesome.
grab your number too to make sure.
Yeah, totally. Can you give it to her? I'm gonna do a little energy work. on it.
Yeah, sure can. The 909 or the 66?
No, 909. That's the one I have on mail.
Yeah.
Okay,
So make sure you get the right
all
one.
right. Bruce, have a seat.
The other one,
Tell me where you're hurting or what's going on here. Knee. This knee?
Yes.
I'm gonna push on my foot, just kidding.
No, that's
Or would be enough, you can take anything
Yeah.
out.
This is how I do energy work. Whack.
ODY.
ODYSS. And phone number is 909 437 5288.
I have to get a pain rating before. How much is the pain?
6.
It's Heidi, right?
Really?
Awesome.
It's horrendous.
Yes, it was nice to meet
Nice to meet
you.
you too. So were you practicing this regularly or are you just?
Yeah, just.
I bet I could
still
get
just
that
a
down
side
to
project.
3
I just. I
in an
really
actual
wanted to do it
full length
more.
session, even
I
remote.
gotta figure out how to get out of my dental hygiene.
Right now, that's paying the bills.
Right, totally. I mean, you just kind of go
We can get you to-
Yeah.
You're gonna also need to do some physical therapy, you realize. You've got to see a physical therapist.
I just went
Strengthen
past.
this.
The transmission even before I came.
That's always my case. That's
Always.
not a physical therapist.
That's physical.
It's
okay. Nice to
meet
But if you
you.
go to a
Good
guy
luck, and I
who
hopefully
strengthens
see you, because I
muscles
could travel with him
before
on
you go.
one of his classes, so maybe I'll
Like
see you
reducing
there.
pain,
That'd be
like
awesome.
maybe
Awesome.
maybe
Look forward to seeing you again.
but I
Bye-bye.
need
Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
That side can get
therapist.
really
See a
weak.
doctor, get a prescription for physical therapy, go do at least 12 sessions of physical therapy.
I would do that.
Absolutely. Guy's gonna help you strengthen it, move it,
Yeah, I would do that.
do that. We clearing Travis's aura right now?
We will in 30 minutes. It's a pre-alarm.
I mean, I haven't even been able to get on my motorcycle because of this knee.
That might be a blessing in disguise.
And I got a sidecar, so it's not bad. It's a little cold in the winter, but it's okay.
How's your knee feel now?
My knee feels good until I get up, or until I walk, until.
Try getting up.
Just get a little snaps in it. Doesn't hurt as bad as I was when I went in.
And maybe a 4 now? 3, 4?
Well, it could be a 3.
Yeah,
okay.
That was about a minute, right?
Really,
So-
really could be a 3.
So 6 to a 3 in about a minute. This works remotely. You want to set up a Skype thing for next week or something? We'll crank on that. Lisa may join me for free. She'll just join in. We'll both do that tracker moving thing on the wrist. We'll do that on your knee remotely. Do that, get some pain down. Then you gotta work with me and actually go to physical therapy too. I can't build muscle with energy work, but I can loosen things. I can reduce pain. I can help repair tissue. The muscle building's gotta come from you. Exercise with a physical therapist. And we'll try to manifest a good one, competent in your area. Somebody you see like twice a week.
That's a real problem.
I believe you, but we'll intend that we find one, a decent one that you can see like twice a week for 6 weeks, right? They probably charge money, of course, but if you have any insurance or whatever,
No, but I'll come up with
I'll
something.
come up with it somehow, and you can do that, you can do a session with me, like maybe once a week to like help it recover faster while you're working with a physical therapist in between, get the pain down in between, really fast. You might not even need me for the whole time, a few weeks, and then you'll be on your way. Then you get back to, the goal is to get you back to 100%. You want to be walking normally, because you don't want to let this drag on for years and years. You want to take care of this, right?
Yeah, and he's
years now.
done work here now, so he
You
needs to
wanna-
continue.
You wanna like get this, you've got some momentum built, you've got energy, and this whole building's been helping you too, right? But that energy's not gonna be there when you get home.
That's right.
Right? And so book something with me and then we'll work on this remotely. Get this thing moving. That's what I recommend. And I'm saying that from my heart. That's why I worked on you, because I really wanted to help you. I want to help you, right? So,
We can take one of his classes online too. He can like put us in a seat on a computer in his class.
No, we're going to be home this week or next week.
Well, we're supposed to be flying home on Friday, but it'd be nice if we could change our flight to like Sunday or something.
well, listen, you guys, in 3 weeks, November 11th, 12th, et cetera, that weekend, I am teaching this in Pasadena. I'm teaching Quantum Touch Level 1, right, which is what I do with the breathing, everything.
We have a big expo that weekend too.
Okay, well,
But after that
Right, in a
weekend,
month or
we're
two,
gonna have
right.
more
You
freedom.
could do one, or you could come in person in New York. Just keep in mind that if you're attending remotely, I can't give you credit if you want to become like a quantum touch practitioner or something like that. You only get credit for the class from the school if you attend in person. But if you just want to learn it, to do it yourself, you can learn it really well remotely over Skype or whatever. I'll put you on a chair with a name tag. I did that last class, Lisa was there. It worked very well.
Now, if we were able to set up a group, how many days do you say it takes to do like 1 and 2 together?
So 4 days,
4
we can take
days.
1 and 2. I could potentially accelerate it to 3 if people have like tight schedules. We could do basically longer days.
Mhm.
And we get like, do like a day and a half, or a day and a third on the first day of level 1, and then a half day to finish up level 1, then start level 2 on the second day, and like get all 2 classes done in 3 days. That's possible
Mhm.
if you really crank, but
Ideally, 4 days.
ideally 4, but 3 if people are really busy and they can only get 1 day off work, we could possibly do 3. But start with the concept of 4 days,
Okay,
and then, in order for me to fly somewhere, I realize I gotta pay for a plane ticket.
Yep.
And restaurants usually.
Yep.
Right, so I need to be able to actually make a profit, right?
Yep.
So I need to be able to, and I gotta pay commissions to the school. Level 2, my commission's 40%.
Mhm. Wow,
That's a large commission, so I charge, if you early reg, I charge $500, but I'm paying 40% of that to the school, right?
Mhm.
So I need to have a gaggle of students to make it worthwhile, or I need people to not pay the early reg price and pay the full price, which is $600 on level 2 and it's $480 on level 1,
Mhm.
right? I need some way to make it a worthwhile. I need a place to stay, ideally in someone's house, on paper a hotel,
right,
and I need a place to teach, right?
Yep.
You come up with a room, a place for me to stay, makes it a lot easier for it to be affordable.
Mhm.
If I'm paying for hotels and teaching location now, it's gonna be, now I need like 10, 12 students versus like 8 or 7.
right,
But if you come up with a core group of people,
Yeah.
a couple months early, and I know this is a lot of management, and you don't want to deal with this, but if you come up with a core group of people a couple months early, then I post it, the Quantum Touch School website might draw in a couple more, and we might have something viable.
right,
Might have something viable. So, but for now, I think January, New York's gonna happen.
yeah,
So,
good, okay,
because January's a big time every year. My January classes fill, no matter where they are. That's why I picked New York and LA, because I want a big class. So, yeah.